Hi everybody, this is Nina with Mariposa and Vine, and this is my very first crafty YouTube video. I hope you enjoy it. So a while back I had purchased some leftover craft materials and stuff on Craigslist from a woman, and she gave me this big giant box full of old scrapbooking papers and stuff like that, and obviously there were a few places or pieces in there that I wasn't so excited about. This right here being one of them. This one's called Baby Blanket, and I am a little older, so I don't have too many friends who are having babies these days, and I'm not likely to do much baby stuff. So I decided rather than trying to resell them or just sticking them in a box and taking up room in my small craft room, I would transform this. So I just recently got, yesterday as a matter of fact, I got my Delusions ink sprays by Diane Reevely, so I just decided to grab randomly 3 colors. I got bubblegum pink, I got the fresh lime, and then I got the crushed grape, and I used them to transform the paper from this into this. So here's what we're going to do here. I'm going to show you a few of the techniques that I used on this piece of paper. I have an interesting camera setup, so I'm going to try to do that without tearing my paper and without disturbing the camera. So here we go. So Diane shows in some of her videos how she predominantly does journals, and what she usually does is she wets one side of the journal, one of the pages, very liberally with a spray bottle, and then she liberally sprays her inks, 2 or 3 colors at a time. And what happens in that case is that the inks puddle and they start to run together. She adds a little bit more water. That did not happen with this paper. This paper soaked up the inks, so I have a couple of places where it blended together, but for the most part the inks are where I put them. So that was something that didn't quite work out the same way it does for Diane. The other thing that she does is that once she's done that and lets the inks run together, she closes the journal to transfer some of the color onto the other side of the page. And that way she gets a little bit more blending and some reverse image. That, again, did not work on this piece of paper, and I ended up having to spray the other side as well. So just showing you the other side of the page. Next thing I did was decided to use a template that I'd purchased in a bunch of different templates on eBay, and this is a number template, and Diane often does this as her next layer, where she takes a template, puts it down, sprays water through it, and then takes the template, turns that over to get a negative image, and then pulls that up, cleans it off, and then wipes the area with a paper towel. And in that case, what tends to happen on this side, she'll get a ghosting effect that the numbers are lighter, and on this side she'll get one that is a little heavier. Again, that was not so successful with this particular piece of paper. It added a little bit of water marking and that sort of thing, but can't see the numbers very well. So I went back to try something else. Third thing that I did using some of her techniques was to take another stencil that I have that has a bunch of different backgrounds, and I used the little circles and a knife to put gesso through to create these white circles. And I was, pretty random, so some of them are complete, some of them aren't. So it just gives this nice random effect and lightens up the paper a little bit. Next, what I did was I had gotten this very weird, cool thing that I found at the thrift store. I like to go thrifting. I found this thing by Rydell. It almost looks like it's part of a handle for a sports something or other, or maybe part of a wristband or something. But the other side of it has this really cool honeycomb texture. It's very bendy, flexible, and I thought it would make a great background stamp. So I've used it on a few art cards that I sent out with things that I've sold on eBay, and decided to use it here. So just inked it up with some permanent ink from my color box collection, and then put it on the edges of my paper, as you can see here, for a little bit of added texture and background. Next, I wanted to play around with another technique that I have seen. So I've done a lot of stuff just to create some texture and background here. You can probably see it right in this spot here. I took that same number template again, and this time I took a Tim Holtz Distress Marker. This one is Dusty Concord, and then I traced some of the numbers in a bunch of different places. I did it right there. I did it in the corner here, if you can see that. And then another spot right there where you can see the 2 and the 6. And then along the edge here, right in this area. Once I did that, I just basically traced around the numbers. Then I took a water brush and I used it to lift out some of the colors. So I painted in between the lines, and keep in mind that this was a distress marker, so the lines faded and blended a little bit as well, which is kind of an effect that I wanted. Using the brush, I just brushed through, let it sit for a second, and lifted it off with a paper towel, just wiped it up so that I could wipe up some of the ink. So you can see that the inside the numbers, it's a little lighter than the area surrounding it. What I did notice again with this paper reacting differently than Diane's does or others that I've seen is that I did that while the paper was dry, so it really soaked up a lot of the water. So I think it would probably work a little bit better if the paper was slightly damp. Final thing that I did, well, not the final, but one more thing that I did here was just did some water splatter. Diane Reevely's dyes are also, or her ink sprays rather, are also water reactive, so they'll act a lot like the Tim Holtz do with respect to being splattered by water. So this area right here with this purple was really, really dark, for example, so I decided to lighten it up by just splattering some water on it, and I just did that along the entire thing. Make it look aged and used and like it's been around for a while. So the numbers started giving me the idea for a theme, and I had this other final template that I had not used before. So I decided on the theme, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. And so I just took these lovely steampunk clocks and watches, watch faces and hands and that sort of thing, and using just a plain old black Sharpie, don't know where it is, you know what they look like, plain old black Sharpie, fine point, permanent marker, I put clocks all over my piece using the Sharpie. So that's what I've done so far. Not quite sure what else I'm going to be doing, but I thought I would share. I had a few minutes and was inspired to do a video. I've been wanting to practice so that I can start getting some up there. I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and that it gives you an idea of some things to do with some of your old papers that you don't really love. And I'll see you again later. Bye.